that makes my life this foolish game. You need to know I love you so, and I'll do it all again and again. Whoa, oh yeah, yeah. What y'all know about those Commodores? Lionel Richie on lead vocals. You are the sun. Speaking of which, can y'all see me? Okay, yeah. Y'all can see me. Let's have this little lunchtime chat. Y'all go ahead and don't put your forks down. I'll do all the talking. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this particular live. Just me sharing thoughts. I am the Opinionist. That's my YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist, Opinionist, Rico the Opinionist. And let me go ahead and do some housekeeping here. If you didn't know by now, maybe somebody didn't tell you, but I always have this short story. Matter of fact, let me show y'all something. Wait a minute. You are the sun. I have this short story that I wrote. It doesn't come in this form. I'm about to send this to somebody. It's it's like this form. I put it in this form, but it's actually a PDF. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. Conversation with my absent biological father, who never wanted to be found. It looks like I thought it was 40 pages, but it looks like it's almost like written like a report. But it's only in PDF. Really, the page, yeah. I think it's more like 50 pages. Damn, I had no idea. But I guess I wrote more than I thought. Well, basically, this story is talking about when I accidentally found out about my actual biological father at age 22. And then, however, I didn't get a chance to meet him in person until the age of 39, December 25th, 2008. Yeah. Hey, Mary Max. Welcome. What's up? And, but between 22 and 39, there was some conversation over the phone, but he never wanted to meet me in person. So I decided on that fateful Christmas evening, 4:30 p.m., 4 o'clock, I decided to look for the address, put his name in and get some addresses, and just follow all the addresses. And it's interesting because the very first address out of the 5 addresses that I had, I decided to go there first, and turned out to be his. It's a beautiful suburb. Nice 2-story house, really nice. He's obviously done well for himself, which is fine, because this time I had my master's degree and I've been working and stuff, so I didn't need anything. But I did, except for answers. And and so when he came to the door, he said, "What's up? What's up?" And he asked me, "So how did you find me?" And I said, "Through Google MapQuest." And these were his actual words. Lee Kimmery, how you doing? Good. How did you find me? And I said, Google MapQuest. And he said, well, I have to give you an A for effort, because I've worked aggressively over the years to prevent you from ever finding me. So if you'd like a copy of the PDF form, because I don't sell them like this. This is just like for advertisement. I don't sell them like this in like my book report form, like that. I don't sell them like that. I sell it in PDF. So if you like a PDF copy, it is only $10 to my Cash App, Rico the Opinionist, $ Rico the Opinionist, or you can send it to PayPal, Rico Rivers or Rico the Opinionist, either one. And please send me an email address so I can email you a copy of the PDF. And when I do it like this, it's just to send it to some folks for advertising purposes, but because it's a little more expensive to make it this way to try to get it out there, and I have to charge you a hell of a lot more than $10 for this. So, but anyway, go ahead and check that out. If you haven't, tell your friend. Yolanda, how are you? And so, I want to get to it. I'm not going to hold y'all your whole lunch period. I know you have other things to do, like chow down on a delicious hot or cold lunch you decide to get. And by the way, you don't eat heavy for lunch. For those who eat roast beef covered in gravy with mashed potatoes and string beans and cornbread, that's not lunch. That's not the lunch you're supposed to be eating. Those of you who have leftover steak and your steak and potatoes from dinner last night, that's not what you're supposed to be having for lunch. A nice big block square of lasagna with that Texas toast or that Italian bread toast. That's not what you're supposed to be having for lunch, because you know you have at least 3 or 4 more hours to go to work and you know that stuff will put you to sleep. So have a nice Cobb salad with at least a glass and a half of water, or just get you some trail mix or something, because you have to go the rest of the day. But you know a lot of folks do that. Microwave is it's not by accident on the job. People get in there and get the warming up dinner from last night. They had fried chicken, they had mashed potatoes, they had what else to come to fried chicken, or some barbecue chicken with all that. We're not supposed to be eating that stuff for lunch. Eat what you want. I'm just telling you. You all know, like I know, that stuff gives you, as they say, the itis. And you're no more good after work. And for those of you who sneak and have a cocktail at lunch, you got to go back to work. Shame on you. You're not supposed to have drinks at lunch either, meaning beverages, cocktails. You're not supposed to. But I know we do this stuff all the time, and shame. But anywho, eat healthy at lunch at least so you can make it throughout the day. What I want to do, this is a serious topic for me. I want to go into some just dissection of certain situations. And I hope y'all know all of these names. If not, let me give a brief description, because I want to talk about, I guess, black men. And then the second topic is trauma. And why is it black male trauma is so ignored? Yeah, I know I talk about a whole lot of stuff, but my main focus is always black men and black boys, because I'm of the belief and of the understanding and of the reality that we can't have a society without healthy boys, healthy men. We cannot. You can fall for that feminist, women are this, women are that, you're great. And ladies, I'm here to tell you, as it relates to our society and all this, really not the cat's meow like that. You are a precious little purr, but not the meow. It is the boys and the men who are the meow, because we are the protector. We're the hunter-gatherers, protector, providers. And for those of you who are religious and in the Christian church, what does your Bible tell you? You are the helpmeet. But somehow, ladies have gotten away from that and listen to these angry, ugly white women, feminists, that has created a group of minion black feminists, oppressive, patriarchy, and what else this shit? Sexist, misogynoir, oppressive patriarchy. Look, to my sisters who understand what that means, y'all tell those chicks to shut up. Y'all know this is always the ones who are not that attractive who yell all those words. I'll keep saying it because I know it's true. In my naivete, I'm the dum-dum who says this stuff out loud. And so, but anyway, we have to have healthy boys. Meaning, we've had people write books and do lectures and do research on this. And, a brother by the name of Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, he wrote about years ago in his books entitled Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. Meaning how black boys are attacked first grade. And by the time they reach the 8th and 9th grade, they're saying F school and F anything that has to do with education. I'm hitting the streets. Dr. Amos Wilson, back in the 60s and 70s, talked about the psychological trauma of the black male, and also the reason why there's so much black on black male violence, and societal's stereotyping of the black male being this brute, this sexual aggressive being. Dr. Amos Wilson talked about that. Dr. Naeem Akbar, clinical psychologist. All these guys I mentioned, they're doctors, PhDs, or EDDs. He talked about the visions for black men and how black men are to behave, and what is the expectations of black boys and those who are nurturing black boys. Dr. Naeem Akbar. Then you have Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who talked about the blatant attack on the masculinity and the stature of black boys and black men. There are people who talked about it but won't read about it. We sit here listening to someone like Gloria Steinem sycophants like a Gloria Allred and her little weird ass daughter Lisa Bloom. These feminists talking about, now they were angry at white men, but somehow they recruited black women into hating black men. And now you have this large number of 1 in 4 black women will never marry. I'm 33 years old. I have a law degree, a PhD. Why aren't any men asking me to marry them? Because men don't marry monsters. Men don't propose to angry people. We propose to feminine, sweet women who like us. If you don't believe me, ask Becky, Maria, and Mei Ling. Let me see, biracial chicks. Mariah. Eric E. Will, what's up? And this is no slant against the sisters at all, but it's time out for the foolishness. Let's have this conversation about, women leaving that feminist foolishness and get into your true femininity and your womanhood. But anyway, I brought all that up to say, more stereotyping, more images drawn at black men. I brought up these names. I hope you know who they are. Richard Sherman, he's in the news right now. Dwayne Haskins, quarterback for, y'all know who Richard Sherman is, right? Seattle Seahawks brother. And now San Francisco 49ers. He's I guess the new team. But anyway, Dwayne Haskins, Pittsburgh Steelers backup quarterback. And then you have rapper DaBaby. Then you have murdered NBA player Lorenzen Wright. And what's so significant about these guys? Well, Richard Sherman, if you're keeping up with his story, well, at first the headline said he was arrested for trying to break in the home of family members. Then it says he is accused of domestic violence. Okay? Y'all follow me? And then I hear the 911 call with his wife. Actually, is calling 911, and she says, well, he is angry, he's upset, he's aggressive. Not with her. He does not have any weapons, so please, officers, he's not trying to hurt anybody, but he may try to fight you when you come. Okay, I heard you ask. But they never said anything about domestic violence. And other reports saying that he reportedly crashed his car and was trying to knock on the door of in-laws. And you hear, I think, her father in the background saying, well, he's this, he's that. The 911 operator says, sir, I'm trying to talk to her. I can't talk to both of y'all. I want to hear the story from her. But nobody ever said he's beating anybody up or any of that. So he was arrested, and in a report they said they had to put the canine dogs on him. And she said he's been drinking what? Vodka, and he had 2 bottles. 2 bottles of what? Hennessy and vodka. And so, of course, looking at the comments and stuff, of course, people are going in. But we've been around in this reality in this country long enough to say, how come we never ask what's going on with him? We never ask what's going on with black men. What's prompted this behavior? What's his side of the story? So I tend to wait until I get to hear everybody's side. I mean, particularly if it's black men, I want to hear their side of the story, hear their words, hear what they have to say. But we may not get to hear it because he's been being held without bond. Why? It's not a flight risk. The wife never said that she felt that she was in physical danger. They were just saying he was trying to break into his family's house. They say family, but then another report says in-laws. Okay, I guess y'all said it's still family. But, you have to be careful of these headlines. What's going on? But all the years of reading about Richard Sherman, he's always been an outspoken person for particular things that are right in society. He's spoken out against levels of racism, and also was very interesting. He's the vice president of something in the football association. One of their little programs. I guess I don't know, it's the football union or whatever. But he's the vice president. So I take all that into consideration and account to see, well, what is it? What drove him all of a sudden to, quote, allegedly act out this way? What's going on? And those are the questions I like to pose when it comes to black men. because they always ask about everyone else. What drove him to this? If this is exactly what's happened, which we know it's not. When do we ever start believing TMZ? That they tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So I'm going to wait and see what's going on. If they allow him a microphone, if they don't try to prep him up and say this, that, before that may prevent him from telling exactly what was going on with him. So y'all, I have on my t-shirt, Black Men, How's Your Mental Health? This is the one that was designed by Mary Max. She sent this to me. I had one that's like in block, but she gave me this one. Let's put the crown on, shout out to Mary Max. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Y'all go look up the report, see what y'all find, and see if y'all can, I guess, poke some holes in that story, find some stuff that's going on. Cause I don't know, cause cause he's never been known as one who behaves erratically in his real life. Maybe he was smart enough to keep stuff under wraps. And also, it's been reported that he's allegedly going through a divorce. Maybe he doesn't want to let go. We don't know. But I like to know what's going on. And did this actually happen? Was it domestic violence, Richard? Did you actually crash your car and walk to a neighbor's house and knock on the door and say, hey, let me in? And why wouldn't family let Richard Sherman in? Why wouldn't they let him in at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? Who he was. So why wouldn't y'all let your relative in? Is he known to act a fool? And I have a lot of questions. Why wouldn't the family let him in? Was he court ordered to stay away from her and stay away from them? I have a lot of questions, y'all. Now we move on to Dwayne Haskins. He's the second or the backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he and his little lovely wife, they were in Vegas. They got married. And according to a little report that I read, he and his buddies went off to a celebration. I guess she and her friends were supposed to come, but he went without them, and allegedly she got mad when they came back. And next you know, she socks him in the face, in the eye or the jaw, one of them. She socks him, and her mugshot is in the report. And he pressed charges. She's charged with battery and domestic violence. And I'm saying, right on, brother. See, this is a note to all these people who always want to yell domestic violence, intimate violence, domestic abuse, and women, and sexism, and patriarchy oppressive to women. Let me tell y'all something. Let me run this back to you. About 6 years ago or so, I was in a 2-day BIP, or Baptist Intervention Prevention workshop. Was it 2 or 3 days? I know we received 20 hours for this, because I taught BIP classes at some point. Baptist Intervention Prevention Program class. I was a facilitator, and I love those classes. I like talking to the men who've been accused of battering in their relationships. I love that, and I think I'm gonna go and get certified in that, because I love those classes, because I get to talk to the men. They were all races. Just talk to the men about what really happened. And they appreciated me being their facilitator. Because I like to hear what's really going on. But I know how it's actually taught, traditionally taught. If you are in that class and you're a man in that class, it's usually a lot of women who are the facilitators. They may have a few men, but the men behave as those women who are the facilitator. Meaning, if the guy tried to tell a story, tell their story, their side of what happened. And I think that's what made me unique. I asked them, well, what happened? And I would let all 15 guys go around the room and tell me what happened. But I would also be sure to let them know, hey, you out of line. But I also asked, so, all right, what happened to her in this situation? Well, she didn't get anything. I said, did she get any anger? No. Did she get a domestic violence class? No. So wait a minute. Because I would hear certain stories, right? Let me give you an example of a story. I'll give you a couple. All right. One guy says that he was having an argument with his much younger wife. And when he mentioned that, I'm like, okay, he's obsessed with the young girl. much younger wife, and they were having an argument, and I guess she had had enough of the arguing, and I guess he had not got a chance to get his point across. And I listened, and because, people like to tell, like, hey, I was always right all the way through it. So he says, she's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And she reaches for the doorknob to twist to leave the room. And he pushed the door and said, no, and removed her hand from the doorknob. We're not done. I said, stop right there. Stop. He said, what? I said, stop right there. That's when you became wrong. Because you prevented her from leaving the situation. When she twisted that doorknob and you pushed the door closed, that's when you were wrong, sir. But I was trying to tell her, you're still not listening to me, are you, sir? But man, I needed her to tell me, you're still not listening, are you, sir? See, that's how I do. You're going to stop talking and listen to the words that come out of your damn mouth. And that's how, and he's like, and he sat there, he stopped, and he processed it. He's like, well, damn. I said, yes, it is just that sensitive. When someone's trying to remove themselves from the conversation and you do anything to prevent that, that's where you're wrong. That's why you're in here. Now, I'm not saying that she doesn't need to be in some kind of counseling or something, anger or whatever, but you got here because you touched that doorknob when she had her hand on it trying to leave. You prevented her. One would even call it a hostage situation by then. Like, oh man, I didn't ever think about it. Of course you did. Here's another one. A young man, he met a young lady. Well, he knew her in high school, and years later, how people reconnect. And so he said, "Oh yeah, what's up?" And they got together on a booty call situation. This girl, he hadn't talked to in years, but they, I guess, saw each other on social media. They got together, and he said they got together and they kicked it, but he told us this before he got to the story, that this was the day before Valentine's Day. We met this woman. He had a date set up for Valentine's Day, but he met Lil Mama, and she was like, they kicked it all night and kicked it until the next morning around 9 a.m., 8 or 9, and I stopped. I said, okay. So was this your woman? And the girl said, no, man, it was just somebody I met. We hooked up, and blah, blah. I said, so why was she there the next day? So y'all young guys, if it's going to be a hookup, she shouldn't have been there past 3 a.m. But anyway, it got to be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. He said, well, look, I got other plans today, man, baby. I got other plans today. Look, maybe we can hang out some other time. She's like, what you mean? She's like, what you talking about? I got plans tonight. What? So she's like, what you got what? A date or something tonight? He said, well, yeah, I got plans. And that's how it is? And so he's like, oh, snap. So he began the process of trying to easily get her to leave his place. The girl wouldn't leave. And so he said, look, you have to leave, and blah, blah, blah. So they end up getting into a physical altercation. He's trying to put her out the house. He pushing the door, but this time she's called the police. And when the police arrive, they see him pushing her, trying to push her out. She wouldn't leave. And so when they came there, the police like, hold it, what's going on? Ramford, what's up, Marcus? And so she said, he put me, he said the officers came and called him out the house. When they called him out the house, she went in immediately and shut the door. He said, wait a minute, this is my place. And we don't live together, blah, blah, blah. Also, and it was, the police told him, hush, shut up. But he said, no, that's not her house, it's my house. And it's my place. I'm trying to put her out and she won't leave. So, blah, blah, blah. Put him in the handcuffs and pulled off and took him to jail. I guess she had made such a fuss and they believed her lie. And so when he got out the next morning, baby girl had ransacked his apartment, went to his drawer and stole $2,000 from his drawer, and then drove his car off. Dropped it off at his brother's house the next day. I said, my man, did you press charges? Yeah, did you beat her ass? No, yeah, because that was ridiculous. Oh, did you press charges against the officers and all of that? She's like, nah, man. You know, I said, man, come on, y'all. I was just kind of like, hell, I was upset. I said, you can't let them and her get away with that. And I'm just saying, young man, you know, you. I said, you got to do something about that because that's terrible. So you end up in here and she gets to go on and be crazy. Yeah, pretty much. How about a third one real quick and I'll get to the... young man and him and a young lady got into a verbal altercation in their apartment. And he turns to leave. Like, where the F you going? You ain't going. She throws pots and pans at him in the back like, He's leaving. He gets in his car, you know, because a lot of guys have been taught and they've learned, let me get in my car and leave while this is going on. So he gets in the car. They live in an apartment complex. He gets in the car, cranks up, proceeds to hit and reverse and pull off, back up. She jumps on the hood of the car. You ain't going nowhere. Where the F you going? You ain't going. And so he's like, get off the mother-loving car, B. Blah, blah, blah. And they're going into it. So the neighbor said, call the police. And he says, as he was backing up, he hit, with those speed bumps, those high-pitched speed bumps is in the apartment. He hit the speed bump, and just as he hit the speed bump, the police were pulling up, and when he hit the speed bump, her body bounced off the car and onto the street. And the police, and they got him, and they accused him of reckless vehicle endangerment of a person. so, like, my man. Wow, I'm telling y'all, whoa. And so, and I said, what happened to her? Nothing, man. I had to go to jail, I had to pay bond, I'm in this class, and ain't nothing happened to her. I said, y'all still together? No, we ain't together. And so, these are stories I want to relate to all these domestic violence folks. And then they want to put out these numbers. Men are battering at a large number than women. Women are most of the time their victims. I didn't disagree with that, but I need the numbers to come into 2021. Even this was like, it's 2021, so this had to be in like 2015 or 16 or something when I was at this workshop. And the whole weekend, how men are brutal, men are insensitive. They don't have the emotional capacity to engage in dialogue without having to bring up violence. Oh my God, I had to listen to these old feminist, ugly white women in tight pants. I had to watch this white woman in tight pants. Her body was crap. And watch ugly white woman camel toe while she was on stage from Minnesota. They were trying to pass this curriculum, the Minnesota curriculum on domestic violence. Those of you who work in this field know what I'm talking about. That's that curriculum. $600 to teach that men are not capable of being civilized. And I was offended for the whole 2 days. Hosted by, gay white men and ugly white women. And then in the audience, I'll even tell y'all, with that whole thing. And so, yes, men are batterers and women are batterers, but just like then and just like now, people are so proud to say, they say it with such ease. Well, men underreport, men rarely report. So what if men actually reported the domestic violence at the same rate or better than women? You'll see that at one point it was men battering and women here. But if men were to actually report, it'll probably be men here and women here. Especially these days of so-called empowerment and believe her and me too. Women been acting a goddamn fool these last 5-6 years. Y'all see the videos, but the men, we're still bound by behaving as men. So when men report, not only do other men tease them, but the police officers laugh at them. Did y'all know this? So when people say, well, it's underreported, how come we never asked why? And why don't we get into that? You just make this assumption that men are such batterers. No, I just gave y'all 3 examples. I can give you more examples of people getting into it. Let me tell y'all something. I told all my groups before I started each group. See, I understand what domestic violence is and what a batterer is. See, domestic violence is when 2 people are disagreeing and it gets verbal or physical. he might push her, but she's responding with pots, pans, and the cell phones, and he trying to leave, and she hit him in the back with the broom. They getting into it. Mary Mack said the foolishness has been going on longer than 5-6 years, just being caught on camera now, for sure. And so, that's domestic violence. They both breaking furniture. They both got scars because they getting into it. That's domestic violence, and I don't approve of that at all. But here's the batterer. And the batterer is the one who feels more empowered over the one who's being beaten. Meaning, let me put it in the male perspective for a second. You know, the batterer, and I would say this to the guys. I said, you know what? The batterer is the emasculated, disempowered coward who's not powerful or is in control at his job. He doesn't do well with his male peer group. So he comes home and bullies his wife, smacks the wife, kicks the dog, and slams the kids and smacks the kids around. He feels like king of the jungle at home because he's so disempowered everywhere else. That is the symptoms or the how can I say, what makes up a batterer's mentality. You know, or it could be a woman coming in. He's a beta male guy. She comes in talking crazy and all this, and she probably make more money and whatever. So the batterer. But I'll tell the guys in the male sense, one thing I told them, one thing I can't stand is a batterer. And I'm letting that anybody off the hook because I know, and I would tell them, I would look at all of them and I would say, I know there's a batterer in this damn room, in this group. And I can't stand a batterer. And I can't stand domestic violence. Cause I grew up in domestic violence and around a couple of batterers. So yeah. And I know the difference. And so when I say that, I look around and see who to see who feels accused or who looking like, look straight ahead. But thing is, I'm letting them know I'm here to be fair, but I'm not with the foolishness. Because what we're going to do is, my goal in all my groups that I've ever taught over 20 years is to have your mind different from the mind that got you in my group in the first damn place. And we're going to have that conversation in here. You can cuss, you can scream, you can even threaten me. And if you threaten me, well, look, shut the door, goddammit. Listen, what you say in group? I'm finna do my Carlos Miller. No, in group, say what you said. No, say what you said. No, say what you said. No, Carlos, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just me and you now. Go on, say what you said. And so, shout out to Carlos Miller. The foolishness continues. Yeah, I have asked some guys, okay, when everybody leaves, I need you to stay behind. Let's have this conversation. I have done that. Because when I'm in my groups, I'm there to actually help and to save lives, even to the point of putting my own physical body in danger. But luckily, out of respect, or they can't believe that this little dude in here, I don't know what it is, but it never resorted to a physical altercation. With me and whoever I asked to stay after group and explain to me what the problem is in my group. And I'm not Billy Badass. I'm really passionate about what I've done, what I do as a social worker when I'm talking in my groups. And I'm not always right. I apologize and all that stuff. But when it gets down to it, we have to do the best we can to break these barriers, particularly in these batterers groups. And they deserve some fairness, because when a lot of people teach these groups, they don't want to give the man no kind of break. No, it's you. He used to say, well, my girlfriend did this, and the facilitator would tell the guy, no, don't bring her up. You're in here. So such and such. So they were getting battered and beaten down like that. Me, I offered them the opportunity to share their side, and let's talk about it. And I'll let you know, no, this is where you were wrong. And guess what? This is where you were right. So they don't leave my groups feeling attacked, abused, and emasculated. They leave my group with a different understanding, with their manhood, their intelligence intact. That's how I do. That's why I love those groups. That's why I enjoy doing groups. And I know who my group is. I know there's some people in there like, man, I'm gonna catch this dude in the parking lot. But if you respect people and talk to them, like they're human beings, and allow them the space to talk to you. Because yes, people need space where they can really operate on who they are. Yeah, you don't get in there. Yeah, you this, you that, you that. These are grown people with children and wives and husbands and a life and jobs and bills. How you think? Cause you the group leader that you better than them? Don't do that. I never cared for that. I never like to sit in on groups where people talk crazy. See, now my groups, when I've seen these people over the years, they said, Mr. Rico, man, you were crazy in groups. And I know we've had some wild stuff to say in groups. But they never said, man, I felt disrespected or, man, you came at me like that one shit. They never. They like, man, I learned a lot in your groups. And that's how I've always done. And so anyway, hey, Miss Kenyatta. Kenyatta, how are you? So I'm happy that Dwayne Haskins filed charges. And I hope he follows up with them. Because more and more women need to be persecuted and their ass need to go to jail. It's time out for that. They do. Now let me break the monotony here and go to rapper Da Baby. I don't know if y'all heard the story. And it's something that's near and dear to my heart. Because when I was a little kid, up from like 14 years old, I used to sell candy. I started selling candy in 10 years, at 10 years old, with a brother by the name of Archie Muhammad. Archie Muhammad, shout out, man, don't get me started on that, brother. Archie Muhammad was one of those men, and I tell people I was lucky to grow up in the 70s and the 80s. There were still men around. He used to come to the neighborhoods in North Memphis. Claude, what's up, man? How you feeling, bro? Hope everything's okay. He's one of those men, of many men in our communities growing up who gave us something to do. He gave up his time. He was a married man, a married Muslim man, not Nation of Islam, but a Muslim brother. Not a Nation of Islam Muslim, but I guess Orthodox. Because the masjid was there in South Memphis off of 3rd Street. Got a masjid right across the street or up the street from the old Dave's skating ring from back in the day. From Memphis, you know what I'm talking about. But Archie Muhammad had a wife, and he had about 6 or 7 kids of his own. But he would go through the community, so North Memphis, South Memphis, Binghamton, Evergreen, these little neighborhoods with poor black kids. My brother was already working with him, but I couldn't come until I turned like 10, 11. Thank you, man. I'm glad you're better, man. Because, I don't know, you probably get a lot of feedback, but people who you think aren't watching Claude, man, we all reading your stuff, and we all hoping the best when we see Grand Fam and folks who are not doing well. We may not say anything at the moment, but just want to let you know that I've been checking you out, man. I'm glad that you're doing better. And I don't know if we know each other personally or not. I just saw, brother was not doing well at the moment, but I'm glad that you are doing better. So anyway. So Archie Muhammad, man, and like I said, if I ever see him again, he's even in my book, by the way. For those of you who haven't purchased a copy of the PDF, he's in my book. And by the way, I'm showing it right here. This is not. It doesn't come in this form. This is an advertising form. It's been like a report, but it's little thoughts, about 50 pages of my thoughts. And but it comes in PDF, $10, Rico did pain. This is called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. And I mentioned Archie in this book. In this short story, and get at me on that if you have not gotten. And please send me an email address should you decide to cash at me so I can email you your PDF copy. We went to sell candy with Archie, and so well, thank you, Claude. I appreciate that, man. And so we would sell candy, and at that time we were selling caramel clusters and coconut squares, and it was $1.50 a box. We would make 30 cents off each box. For a kid in the 8th and 9th grade, bringing home $20 to school in '83, man, you know how much 25 cent or 30 or 40 cent cookies, the real lemon cookies, and ice cream sandwiches you can buy with $20. Man, baller. Look, hey, what's up, man? Hey, cookies for everybody, man. Yo, go on get a little mama that ice cream sandwich. I got you. No, we was little ballers around there. That was something, man. And so he gave us the first taste of that entrepreneurial spirit. It was him and Brother Talib. These Muslim brothers, they also taught us about the N-word. We stopped using the N-word, and he changed the word for us at that time for Bilal the king, or Bilalian. So on that bus, these little hood kids said, yeah, N-word. He stopped that cold. He taught us no. So we just started saying even jokingly, yeah, my Bilalian brother. Yeah, Bilalian brother. But we stopped saying the N-word. So Archie Muhammad was a big part of my youth and growing up and development. I really appreciated him, and I can't wait to see him one day again somewhere to tell him how much I appreciate it and how much I love him. Because he, believe it or not, one night we were on the van. He used to take us all over Memphis suburbs. He even took us to Jackson, Tennessee, even to Nashville to sell that daggum candy. And then he upgraded the candy to boxes of candy that cost $2, so we got 40 cents. And then we also asked for donations. Youth Action Program. We're selling candy to keep young men like me employed and out of trouble. But if you can't buy the candy, man, we really appreciate a donation for the cause. And they'll give a donation, ma'am or sir. We'll be all over selling that candy, even at night, up to like 9, 10 o'clock, hawking that box of candy. And so when I saw the story on DaBaby and those little boys, and then I listened, and I'm going to say right off the top, I agree with what DaBaby did. Because one thing about it, we didn't try to, I guess, flat out directly hustle grown people because we were cute little kids. And what those boys were doing, see, that's some other hood street hustle. And they played themselves on that. Yeah, he had a wad full of money. Some people are like, well, you should have had all that money out there. Claude said we need more men like that for these young men growing up today. Claude, me and you can be those men today. We can be that cat. To hook these young brothers up. We're here. It's almost like we're waiting on somebody else. We're here, man. We have to do it. Take that initiative. And so they're gonna try to charge him $200 for the whole box just because he had a wad of money. And then they went up to him because he was DaBaby. And it goes to the whole thing of, well, why do you expect much more? Because these people are rich or what have you. But DaBaby's like, wow, man, come on. So how much how much for the whole box? Remember, he said $200. The other one, he said, how much for you? $200. They couldn't even explain themselves out of that. That was terrible. Why would y'all do that, young brothers? And one thing about grown people, we see young guys hustling. We already know I've bought more than what I was going to buy when I've seen young people sell stuff. And he tell me, I bought more. Because whenever I see a young man selling candy, I'm already a customer. Because I did it. And then he said, well, how much is it? He said, it's $1. And it'd be like this here. Here is $3. Just give me one candy bar. That's how I do. Every time I see a young man selling candy, because that was me. There were people who did that for me. They'll say, hey, here's $5. I don't want the candy. That meant all that went to me. And so those young guys kind of played themselves. I understand, the way people are hustling, but they need to also learn, like, just kind of be quiet, man, and let it come to you. Because people will give you what they want to. Like DaBaby said in an interview in Complex, he said, had they been straight up young brothers, look, it's $2. It's $2 a bar and whatever. He said I would have bought the whole box and probably gave him about $500 or gave $200. But they were trying to pull that, man, you got it, bro. You got it. See? And that's why I side with DaBaby on this. Because he didn't have to. And so it's almost like Girl Scout cookies. But I need them to... don't y'all know the Girl Scout cookies go up 50 cents or 60 cents every year? That's why we're going to be paying $10 for the same Thin Mints, for the same caramel, for the same damn lemon drop. $10 a box? Like, damn, what y'all got in there? Powder cocaine or something? But they branded themselves as the thing to do. Get the Girl Scout cookies from the young ladies. So I agree with DaBaby on this, and people need to get off this dude talking about he should have done it, and no, that's not cool. Those young men really missed out on something big, and they had to go viral. They've gone viral for being a couple of little shysters. They could have gone viral for, but you know what? Some people might say, it's all right, man, F DaBaby. It could have worked in their favor. He said they get nasty, G Mary Max. No, not my Samoas though. Come on. But there may be some win in there for them, but I think character-wise, it wasn't a win. And shout out to Archie Muhammad again, out of Memphis. I hope he's still with us. I hope he's still alive because he was. I think he was like 37. I asked his age one time. This is like in the 80s. He was 37. So I'm 52. How old y'all think Archie is now? Damn. I hope he's still with us. Doing one of my visits from home in Memphis, I'm gonna try to make a concerted effort to find him. Maybe I may go up to the masjid one of these days and try to find him. You know, and just hug him and tell him thank you, because he was a really big part of my brother and my upbringing. Because we didn't grow up with dads, but we grew up in decades where there was still a lot of appropriate men with families who gave their time to mentor us or give us something to do. And I appreciate that guy. I mean, beyond words. Now, let's get to Lorenzen Wright. I don't know if y'all been hearing this new stuff. You know, Shearer, whatever her murderous... she trying to get out of jail. We've heard the story. You know, she said, I didn't do it, but baby, you put it together. You know, and it was terrible. Now she wants to say this dead man, he abused me. He abused me. Now she want to make him out to be a dead abuser. I guess we'll have to see the police reports, but also people keep saying, baby, y'all were divorced. How is he abusing y'all? Y'all were divorced. And then, of course, folks come in and say, oh, no, you're trying to keep the money going. So she's trying to use anything in her power to get out of jail. They already gave her a light sentence. Do them little short 7 to 10 years. Wait. And so now her twin sons, have come out and say, well, when we were little, we witnessed our father. But I'm like, man, y'all shut the F up. Shut up. They're not talking about when y'all were little. How about during the time that she lured him out to get him murdered? And talk about the first time. It's been testimony in court that it's not the first time y'all mama tried to get y'all daddy murdered for his money. Come on. But I know whenever children go to particular spouses or parents, Chevrolet, is that you, girl? Did you just sneak in here? God damn. When a lot of times when they were one parent, and a lot of times with the mom, they were poisoned, they were trained, they were programmed the kids to hate the father. And unfortunately, these boys, they have been taught that their dad was the devil. And every time I think of that story, this makes me so sad and angry at the same time. You know, to think that he was out there with no help, and his body had to be found, decomposed. I mean, it was awful. And the nerve of her still spitting and shitting on his grave, and now you got his sons spitting and shitting on his grave, and nobody can prove any of that. And so his poor mother seems to be the only one who's actually still around fighting. They go to trial again, and they said, so you're going to be able to sit up with this second time around this trial? She said, look, all I need is a glass of water, and I guess she said, in God. What she needs is more support. Hey, Chevrolet. And so, you know, it's just unfortunate. So, and it bothers me that she still has the nerve. She's still alive to try to sully up this brother's name. I don't like that. And I'm glad that people are getting on her. One thing about it, they're not giving her the slack, but these twin boys, they're playing basketball in somebody's college now. And, maybe, I guess they're probably telling when they was little, and, the parents were getting into it and all of that. But I think they had been divorced a minute, and so she was free from that. So why are you going to act like that abuse was a part of after the divorce? And then the children, of course, they can't be blamed for saying what they said per se, because all they said was, well, when we were little, we used to see him sometimes, jump on her, or they get into it. They just say abuse her, whatever. But they won't say get into it. So it was just a bad deal all around. I don't know why this young man was going after this old help in the first place. I guess when she was young, she was attractive. Y'all cougars, man. Sometimes y'all don't be up for good. Saw him with money, and she was over the hill. She was in her mid-30s, and I think he was in his early 20s or mid-20s. And so wasn't nobody in her age group scooping her up. So she went in and leached on, as old folks say, let stone to a younger man. And he got caught up in it. No, the younger man being Lorenzo Wright. And I hate that. Oh God, every time I hear that story, it puts me in a place that's not very positive. And so my main question on topic 2 is why, how come black male trauma is not taken seriously? And we've had these scholars and these researchers to talk about it. Why is it every time you bring up black male trauma, somebody throws in something? Let me give you a prime example. And thank you, Henry Garner, for reminding me of this George Floyd thing. People can have their opinions on it. For me, I'm not discussing it. We're not gonna have no discussion about that. Mary Mack said, now, I guess I'm gonna do my my Kim Wayans. Now you ain't heard it from me, child. The word on the street is she went after him when he graduated from high school, child. That. Thank you, Mary Max. That Kim Wayans character on Living Color. The George Floyd thing, and I don't discuss it much because I don't have time for the foolishness. You're not going, well, he not nothing but a drug addict. Why they trying to honor a drug addict and a nothing ass? He was this and that, all this stuff. I'm not going to hear that. Nobody's honoring a drug addict. No one's honoring a criminal. They're honoring a victim, or they're not even honoring. They're showing a symbol of police brutality, and when it gets out of hand, you can't fool me with your reckless language. Well, he wasn't nothing but a drug addict. He wasn't nothing but a criminal. And I told this white dude on one of his pages, oh, you mean like George Washington, Andrew Jackson, and all the other white presidents that owned slaves and beat the hell out of them and passed these laws that took the human rights from people? You mean those abusers and criminals and sexual deviants? Those sons of bitches? But you want to talk about that? What's the report of George Floyd doing into that? So don't tell me about somebody being honored who was a criminal. And this whole country is honoring nothing but goddamn criminals. So I don't get involved in that. But if you just go back to black male trauma being minimized so you can put somebody else up. George Floyd happened 2 months after Breonna Taylor. But we got these angry feminists. That's right. What about Breonna Taylor? You can't say George Floyd. What about Breonna Taylor? That gets on my damn nerves. Because if y'all was all about Breonna Taylor 2 months before then, 2 months before George Floyd, where were y'all at? What's that? What's going on? But it's always after black male trauma has occurred, they want to pull up somebody else. And by the way, if y'all gonna pull up a legitimate sister who was legitimately hurt and murdered by the cops, with something that we can see, y'all talk about Tatiana. What's that? Tatiana Johnson? That happened in Fort Worth. A woman who was sitting there, I think babysitting a niece or nephew, and the cop came in, shot through the window. Tatiana Jefferson, my bad. Now, that's the woman I would bring up, personally. Y'all talking about these other folks. But they never bring up a Tatiana Jefferson. See, if we want to pull a quote George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, well, let's do this. You mean the woman who's dating drug dealers? The one who was going in and they got it on the books when she was talking to a little drug dealer boyfriend? The reason why they served the warrant in the first place wasn't for the dude who was there, but was for her drug dealer boyfriend. Y'all talking about what his choices led to his murder? Her choices led to hers. Yeah, but y'all want to honor that criminal, that one who's culpable in crime and dating dope boys. When she was trying to be an EMT, she was fired from that job allegedly from stealing. So we're not going to do this. I don't play those games. We're going to tell the truth up in here. George Floyd wasn't trying to be nobody's hero. He was a drug addict, a legitimate drug addict. He was having drug addict run-ins with the police. Y'all like that's something new. Candace Owens, you hear that, you bitch? Did the rest of y'all, you black feminists and you racist honkies, did y'all hear that? Y'all want to tear him down, but you want to salute the American flag? Did y'all hear that? You're saluting criminals. So don't tell me about somebody being honored who's a criminal. He was a drug addict who's also In some cases, when I'm not allowed to see his, I guess, smaller children, older children, something. He was going through a lot. So I worked with addicts for over 25 years. And that's what's going on. Mary Mack said the reason why they were pushing Breonna Taylor is because the women's movement needed a face to push. Well, and I dig it. I wonder how could they push Tatiana Jefferson, though? Tatiana Jefferson. That's who I'd push. Because she was smart in school, excelling in her own life academically and professionally. She was doing all that. She wasn't bothering nobody. She wasn't dating no drug dealers, going to jail to see them, letting them borrow her car. When a body found in a car that she helped, I think, rented for the dope boy, she wasn't about that life. So why are they pushing this little chick? Could it be connected to like this obsession we have with hood behavior? Shout out to Shikari. Well, why do we have this obsession with hood folks like that? And then we kind of side-eye everybody who's doing, black folks who are doing the right thing. And just happen, bad things may tend to happen. Why do we tend to disrespect black boy trauma, black male trauma? Why do we ask, well, what did he do? How come he did that? And then you try to really circumvent it by adding someone else in the actual place, the traumatic place that belongs to someone else, this Breonna Taylor mess. That's all. I'm not saying that she shouldn't receive justice for what happened to her, but what we're not going to do is run around and call George Floyd. Well, he held a pregnant woman, held a knife to her stomach while his friends robbed her place. But y'all leave out the part that he served time in jail for that shit. They was all on drugs. I'm not excusing anything, but we're not going to act like drugs doesn't take us from our humanity. We all had crack addicts in our families, alcoholics, heroin addicts, meth addicts, all this shit. And y'all know damn well those folks be out there in them streets. Now, the alcoholics be in the streets running people over and killing folks. Not all the time, but y'all know how that works. Mary Mack says because Tatiana Jefferson didn't fit their narrative. Hell, there are many women they could have used before Breonna was murdered. I agree, Mary Mack. That's what I'm talking about. So, if we're going to have a conversation, we're going to tell the truth around here. We're not going to play. See, I don't allow liberals. I don't allow these weird-ass radical conservatives and Democrats, none of that, to tell me how to think. You're not going to give me a narrative and say, hey, go for that. I'm not part of the masses. You're not going to do that to me. And you've never been able to do that to me. And I'll say it, I don't care, to the chagrin of others. I just have to accept that blowback of those consequences. No, because it's not fair. So, and I'm preaching here today, or encouraging us, pay attention to black male trauma. These dudes aren't killing each other in the streets for nothing. These dudes aren't fighting and joining gangs for nothing. Or committing suicide. The suicide rate among young boys and black men, high. But we don't pay attention to those numbers. So thank God for those black men out there who are talking about it. Fatherlessness is looked at as a way of, these boys, they need dads. They out here doing these crimes. Fatherlessness also leaves a void in boys, just like girls. Especially in boys. That's who boys identify with, their fathers. That's who they initially aspire to be like, dads. But there's nobody there. They start aspiring to be who's there. What environment they've grown up in. So sometimes, more times than not, these environments don't have positive dad role models. I was very lucky. I didn't grow up with a dad, but I had positive masculine male role models in my junior high school. Shout out to Cypress Junior High School then. Coach Bivens, Coach Paul Holland, Mr. Harrison, Coach Harrison, Big Man, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Simon. You know what I'm talking about? Mr. Simon, who's Mr. Walton, our assistant principal, tall, light-skinned guy that used to wear those leisure suits. Very nice man, but he commanded respect. Two black male assistant principal, black male principal. We had about close to 1,300 students in that junior high school. Asked me how much foolishness jumped off. With one black man as the principal, older gentleman, and a younger man, probably in his late 30s or 30s, late 30s, early 40s then, in 1983, 84. He, uh, two men ran a school of close to 1,300 students. From the hood, the foolishness was rare. And now you have the female is the principal. You got 3 assistant female principals and 5 men as assistant principals. A school with like 1,400, and foolishness is continuous. You got a whole army of people in an office and can't do shit. So what was it? Why don't we understand? Why don't we look back, those of us who are so intelligent today, why don't we look back and see exactly what it was? What was the key factor there? Oh, masculine men. And men being allowed to be men and be in charge. See, I'm for equality, but equality needs to be thought about in particular spaces. In spaces where order is needed, there need to be men. You know, call it sexist or misogynistic all you want to, but I don't think women should be teachers. Young women should be teachers beyond the 4th grade. And I'm speaking because of boys. Because when boys start going into, you know, like 6th, 7th, or I'll say the 5th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all these boys have reached their maturity and they start thinking that man stuff. By the time they get to like 9th grade and the teacher's like 28 years old, they're not listening to her. They're looking at and saying, man, I knocked down Miss such and such. Man, Miss such and such can get it. She might be saying, look, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, unless she's one of those hard butch kind of chicks. But she a little cute little teacher. You know, about 25 to 30 years old. She teaching 9th, 10th grade, anything. Them little dudes be like, Miss such and such. What's up? They're not paying attention. That's why you need the men on a higher level. But you say, well, what about the girls? Well, look, you have some men there, you know, some women there. You know, you got the counselors and all that stuff. And they can be a blend, but need to be the men in the roles where bring on the discipline. That's what I'm saying. Y'all dig it? Because it'd be weird to see the man as a librarian in high school. That'd be kind of weird. The lady has to be the librarian. She has to be at least 1 or 2 of the guidance counselors. Need men in there too, because I don't see too many male guidance counselors either. All women. They're the principal, they're the guidance counselors. Here, you go into nurses or the nurses' office, whatever, all women in there. There's no male doctors. I'm saying, brothers, we need it everywhere. Get in these schools. And every time you look around, they want that one football coach to do all the damn discipline. We had male teacher was a man. Civics teacher, a man. Let's see, Miss Draper did health, bless her heart. She was awesome. And Miss Davis did English. And who else we have in there? All the coaches, track coach, football coach, PE, men. And they all had paddles. But of course, today all you just need to have masculine men. Not just men, but masculine men. Because, you know, there's some guys in there teaching, what are they teaching? Social studies. First of all, I need all y'all to get out y'all books. And we got principles. Okay, students, get to class. Get to class. See, we need men, baby. We need men who eat sloppy joes just for snacks. We need men. Not just these male figures, per se. And those... Let me just stop. But anyway, look, male trauma is real. Mary Mack said, my coaches also taught math, science, economics, and English. That's right. And then it should be a heavy, concerted effort to get men on the elementary level. Let me tell y'all something. I had a teacher. See, men are impactful. I had a teacher, his name was Mr. Jackson. He's my 6th grade teacher. He was probably in his 50s then. This is probably 82, 81, 82. Because I was in the 1st grade in 76. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So like 81, 82, something like that. And Mr. Jackson was a kind of a stoic older dude. And he used to be clean. You know, his little Jordan, I think the Braxton jeans with his shoes and his nice sweaters and the belt. He was just clean. He always had this look. And he always wore leather outfits. He had the leather jacket that was clean. It'll be blue with the blue pants that matched and the black leather shoes, or sometimes it was taupe or tan or something. He had a shirt that went with it. He had a black one. I think he had a green one. Black one, green one, blue one. I remember that. It used to be clean. And then he have on his blue jean jacket with his shirt folded up under the jacket with the watch on and his grown man slacks or jeans on with his shoes. I remember the first day of class, this man told all us in 6th grade, "How y'all doing? My name is Mr. Jackson, Joe Jackson. My name is Mr. Jackson. This is your homeroom. This is your class. This is where we'll be. And oh yeah." And he said he did this look. "And I don't play." And guess what? We never played for that whole school year with Mr. Jackson. and he rarely raised his voice. If he raised his voice, missiles just shut out from Houston's naval Air Force Base. Shot into orbit. Because if he raised his voice, goddamn, something popped off. And so, and as young boys, we're really impressionable, and I really looked up to him. That strong, and that brother who commanded. I really looked up to him. And I remember one day he gave us instructions. We were having May Day. And, he had the softball trials and stuff. Everybody playing softball, baseball. And he told us, "Look, I played baseball when I was in college, or high school or college. And let me tell you something. If you want to win, don't you hit them balls in the air, because all they're going to do is catch them. But if you want to win, you hit them ground balls, hit them hard and hit them fast. And at least you get to a base. Because we're trying to get to a base, first, second, or third base. And then you come in and hit another ground ball, and then you can come home. That's how we score in the game. Now, we won the first time. You're like, yeah, we were like the team to beat. And then the second game came, and people, they understood. Now, we had some guys that hit them in the air. Well, they hit them. These little dudes strong. They hit them over everybody's head, and it was over. And then some guys would hit them in the trees and start knocking branches down. They were like, so they were scared to catch the ball. They hit the home run that way. And then, y'all, it was time for me to bat. And I had in my head, hit it on the ground, Rico. I was at Kingsbury. Yeah, Kingsbury Elementary School, Mitchell House. Shout out to Mitchell Heights. And it was my turn to bat. We had, I think, one out to go, and I think we were behind one, and that would have ended it. So we had 2 outs, and we were behind a run, and it was up to me to try to get. It was 2 people on base. I know one person, yeah. And so it was up to me to hit a ground ball so that person on third could run in. I don't know what happened. I don't know why my strength decided to kick in that day. All of a sudden, I'm like, bow, and it went in the air. And I be damned as Reginald. See, I'm telling you, it was traumatic. Reginald Jones, tall, skinny kid. Reggie, like, bloop. Caught the ball. I look right over there, and now everybody like, "Oh, Mariko!" And Mr. Jones, Mr. Jackson, I look right over at him. He just did this. Meaning everybody, let's come on in. This motherfucker. And man, like a cowboy in the old Texas would say, I felt lower than a snake's belly. They're like, "Oh, Mariko, man, how you did that?" Like, "Oh, wow, come on." I did. I felt like crap all the way through lunch. And I didn't get over all the way to home on the bus ride and all that. And I don't think he didn't look at me no more. I'm like, oh man, let your boy make it. Oh yeah, that I'm telling you, trauma. Trauma that I disappointed my class. I disappointed my teacher, Mr. Jackson. But yeah, that was and after that year I headed to the 7th grade. And Junior Miles, what's up? Tony Bickham, what's up, bro? That really did me in. And so anyway, black boys and black men's trauma. Why do we still play like that's not a real thing? We got all kinds of YouTube channels, but YouTube videos that talks about that, and we don't pay attention to those. We tend to go to the drama field stuff, which is fine. But if we're really sincere about our race, and I'm going to use that word again, race, continuing and being productive and healthy, we have to address the needs of black boys. Educational needs. Boys today are reading at the 4th grade level. We have to address the psychological needs, traumatic. Ernest said, "Trauma make you remember it." You ain't lying, Ernest. I'm telling you, I'm 52 years old. And I still can tell that story exactly when it happens. Even some of that same disappointment has hit my body. I really did not want to disappoint Mr. Jackson. I didn't. That was my man. So I do have a vested interest in that, and the trauma boys being recognized and not always circumvented for other people's experiences, or pushed to the side because other people's experience is viewed as more important than ours. You know, and I'm a real proponent of counseling and therapy, but politically we won't have to start politically, and this is why I talk to black men. Because I can say, well, black women, y'all need to do this. They're off. The masses of black women are on their own, meaning they're doing for self. But then they get on the news and on podcasts and say, why black men want to date black women? Because well, y'all men, and I'm not talking. Y'all know what I'm talking about, sisters. Y'all know the ones I'm talking about. Because those of you who are 45 and up, y'all out of that game. Y'all just kind of shake your head. But from what I understand, some of you who in your late 40s and early 50s are having dating issues. We can talk about, I'll tell you why if you want to hear it, but it's not the men. We do have a time period in which all of us are at our hottest. Yeah, men and women. But one thing about ladies, what y'all can do, those of you who are over 45, 40 and up, over 35, and seem like you be having difficulty with men, Angelique, how are you? Tell the young women 18 to 30, 18 to 28, look, God made you fine, young and fine for a reason. Don't waste it on trying to ball and have hot girl summers and having a bunch of kids out of wedlock by a bunch of shitheads. Don't do that, baby. Don't say, well, I'm going to focus on my career. Well, that's fine, too. But also keep in mind, your counterparts, your Hispanic, your Asian, and your white girl counterparts, they have bachelor's degrees and they have husbands. They have law degrees and they have husbands. And guess what? Their husbands still the men of the household. We need to stop allowing these things to divide us. And I don't want to go on and on because I know I'm talking about men trauma, but I can't help it. Let me tell y'all something real quick. Well, Rico, what's the solution? Well, it doesn't have to be that difficult. All it is, for those of you who listen to me, you can change your mind right today. Now, there's some physical things we all can do. Get in the gym, eat right, go to therapy, counseling, and start this thing over. Start liking each other again. No, we can do that. It doesn't matter if you're over 40 or 50 or 60 because you can find love at any time. I believe that. You can find someone who's right for you at any time. But to our young people who can't seem to get together, let's go back to Soul Train. Let's go back to when slow music was king. Y'all remember slow music, how we used to dance with each other and break our back? Y'all remember that? How come we don't do that anymore? See, the stuff that we call old school, that's the stuff that can save our lives today. The stuff that we say, ooh, that's antiquated. Well, your grandma kept your granddad for 50 years. Maybe I need to ask grandma what she did. And it wasn't perfect, but she understood that we need to keep the family together so I can one day see my great-grandchildren who are healthy and strong. If those of you who are talking about having husbands and wives, y'all have to understand there's a particular amount of sacrifice that has to be made. And of course the feminists, why does she have to make all the sacrifices? Well, look, y'all debate that. Do y'all want our people to keep going or not? And yeah, have men ever behaved perfectly? Hell no. And do we think they're going to start behaving perfectly? Hell no. But we're going to have to become mature to relationships. And if you're single, go and tell the truth. I know why I'm single. I know why I'm a confirmed bachelor. I ain't mad at no women. I ain't mad at nothing. I understand. Hey, I'm single. I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't make me feel badly. The only thing that pissed me off, Rico, stop worrying about other people's shit. Stop talking this black shit and get you some money. Shit. That's the only thing that gets on my damn nerves. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else except for me and my economic decision making. And so I'm like, hey, that's what I'm working on. And of course, get your stomach in and try to get at least one little muscle here. But that's for me. Because when you feel good about you, it goes out to the universe. All that cool stuff. But yeah, we have to. Maybe us old school folks who are over 40, maybe we need to have more parties where we play slow music. And then when we have a DJ, we need to inform him, look, don't say anything divisive. Say stuff, they gotta get on the mic. Come on, ladies. Let me tell y'all something that's always pissed me off. And maybe it's 'cause this also with young people. Y'all know the DJs. Y'all know any DJs, they still do this shit, I think. First of all, the ladies get in there free before 10. All night, some of them. And guys got to pay. Then the DJs, fellas, buy the ladies a drink. They looking beautiful. Fellas, buy the ladies a drink. And I'm like, they ain't paid nothing to get in here. They got $10. They got $20. And yes, ladies, when a drink is bought for you, there is an expectation. So don't accept drinks for anybody you think, oh, girl, he's short. Girl, he ugly. His breath thing, I don't like all them gold teeth. No, girl, he light skinned. Girl, he too dark. No, if you're not sexually attracted to him at that moment, don't accept that dude's drink. Then you accept it and say, well, thank you, and move on, and he trips. Why he acting like this? These dudes know how to take rejection. That ain't how that works. You understand the quid pro quo. I buy you a drink because you with this for the night. So don't accept the drink. How about that? Why don't we be mature about it? And tell these other little boss bitch females that think they can gather drinks from everybody. Unless he says, hey, ladies, let me buy y'all a drink. Or let me buy you a drink, baby. And he's talking and then he's not good and he didn't really push. Well, you in the clear. But don't accept drinks from men that you don't plan on sleeping with that night or that morning or the next day. Just stop it. Because, see, that's the stuff that make men want to, get this hand activated. Hey, B word, you got the game wrong. You must think I'm a mother-loving simp or something. I'm a loving fool, baby. Yeah, then all of a sudden, man, he jumped on the chick, man, because she rejected him. No. She played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor. You hear me? So let's teach young women that. If you're not attracted to him, they say, oh, no, thank you. I'm all right. And when he offers to buy a drink. Stop that. See, we start being honest and mature. Because if it's Friday night after 9 p.m., and you out with your booty dress on, and you got your titties pushed up on your chin, you got your face beat, well, we already know what time it is. I think you know, right? And I know when I go to the club or go to an event and it's after 9 p.m. and music playing and drinks, I know I'm offering to buy you a drink. You hear me? If I offer to buy you a drink, well, I was. And then you got these older women, you go to the clubs and juke them. Hey, don't you want to buy me a drink? No, Esther, I don't want to buy you no drink. No, Shirley, from what's happening now, I don't want to buy you a drink. No, Miss Daisy, I don't want to buy you a drink. No, I don't. So, well, you walk your sashayed your ass over here because I'm not bothering anybody. I'm trying to have my double shot of peach crown, apple crown. You go, hey, how you doing? Oh, God. But I ain't knocking the hustle because the hustle is real. Tell your DJ, stop saying, ladies, if you got your own mother-loving money, you got your own job, you got your own car, got your own house, you don't need an N-word for ish. Don't do that, DJs. I'm going to do a whole video talking to the DJs about that because that's divisive. But it's funny, don't you know, with those same black DJs being a mixed environment, they got whites, Hispanics, Asians, and some sprinkle blacks, they never say that. You ever hear the white DJs say that in a white environment? Only someone who does that kind of foolishness are these Negro DJs. They're the only ones who do that. All right, you got to go out and listen. Go to a mixed environment when they're playing music, top 40 music. You don't hear the white DJ. Hey, ladies, if you work all the week and you don't need a lame boy for nothing. You have your own money, you have your own property. You don't need them. Throw your hands, whoop whoop. You don't hear that. I remember hearing it growing up. It was funny for the moment, but then as you get older and you understand the effects of that. In Memphis, you say this old thing I used to hear, and they said, ladies, he ain't hitting on shit. He ain't worth the shit. He ain't eat worth shit. He ain't that shit. Remember that? Fellas, she ain't give me a bitch. She ain't nothing but a bitch. Can't suck no dick. All that. That's fun banter, but still, let's leave that out too. I need the DJ, because the DJ is the most powerful man in the room. Did y'all know that? And please, if your nerves are kind of shaking like mine in some environments, Do not go to a reggae party when they have an actual reggae DJ. Let it be a regular American dude. Because if you finna go to a reggae party and there's a regular DJ, you ain't gonna never hear the song. Run it back, run it back, run it back, run it back. That gets on my damn nerves. Sometimes I'll be about to run up on the DJ, run up on the DJ. Man, if you don't let a song play, you mother lover. We don't want to hear. I'm telling you, they're just like people out in New Orleans. They like to hear their own voices all the time. Hey, baby, over here, baby, with you, baby. And them damn reggae, actual Caribbean DJs are effing annoying. It has to be a cultural thing. Because I see some videos of reggae parties, and they will stop you in mid wine. You know, you about to wine, da, you about to go, run it back. Well, wait a minute, I ain't get my full wine in, god damn it. Let me tell y'all something. I'm over them. You know, that's why you go to grown folks clubs, like blues clubs and clubs where you got to be over 25, over 30. They let the songs play all the way through. You get to hear all the hole in the wall. Then these celebrity DJs. You want to hear your song, they play, shit, next you know, they go to the next song after 30 fucking seconds. Who told you to play a song less than the whole, at least give it at least 2 minutes of the song. They give you 45 seconds and then zip into another song. Now you already doing this. Now you got to break out in this. Then they put, now you got to, and do this. I'm like, god damn, what's this, some kind of Sean T video? Are you there? Are you there? Damn. So anyway, the DJ is the most powerful one. So if I ever do something, I will instruct the DJ, don't say anything stupid that is divisive. Matter of fact, you make sure you play, after every 8 fast songs, you play 2, 3 slow songs. You say, and you encourage, ladies, grab a fella to dance. Fellas, grab the ladies. And I want to hear, not songs of the 2000s slow songs. I want you to play some slow songs from the 80s, like Prince, Adore You, 80s like Ready for the World, Let Me Love You Down, and really make you dance, close up on each other. You know, because these little slow songs of the 2000s, they ain't have that same that made you sweat and almost damn near. She got said, I hope I'm on birth control. This thing all up on me. No, that kind of slow song, we just melted to each other. And a lot of people met on the dance floor because I hope nobody assumed that whenever people slow dance, when I was in high school and junior high and all of that, that they knew each other. A lot of people didn't know each other. At the clubs in the 90s, people didn't know each other. The late 80s and the early 90s, people didn't know each other. They were strangers. There's some dudes who didn't dance on no fast songs. They waited for the slow song. There were some women who didn't dance on fast songs, and they were waiting for guys to ask them to dance on the slow songs. And they didn't know him. They said, how you doing? Would you like to dance? You're like, oh, okay. And slow song, I mean, in there, breaking back and and bring it up and, and do me, that kind of do me all night long. Just getting it in. That needs to be brought back. Shout out to Jamie Foxx, because we talked about this a lot, and Mary Mack. So, yeah, we need to bring back the humanity in our race, the connectedness. And have more fish fries and barbecue. Invite the young people, the 21 and up, to our grown folk stuff, so they can see how grown people do it, and so they will start doing it. And I'm gonna close on this topic by saying this young man was, when I was Ubering, he said, "Man, they don't know how to do. No, they don't play. No, he said, I wish that I grew up in the 80s like you did." And I said, "Man, let me tell you, I'm not gonna front. The 80s was a lot of fun. No, crack was there, but as teenagers, as young people, we had a blast." He said, "I know the music was cool, and man, y'all had so much fun." Like the early 90s, I said, "You know what?" And he was 21 telling me this. I said, "But you can start that. You can throw a house party at your place, your little apartment, invite people over, and you can play that music, and you can be the catalyst to bring that music that brought us together. You can be the one to throw those kind of parties." And that's what we need to do. Have music and have DJs to understand we're not here to do that divisive shit. We don't want to hear your voice. You be a celebrity in the mirror or something. Yeah, yo, DJ, damn all that. Say something like, fellas, ladies, buy the fellas a drink. They work hard all week. They look handsome, fellas, ladies, buy them a drink. It's not going to go over well the first time, but just keep doing it. Repetition. Just keep doing it. So, anyway, I know I've talked y'all through y'all lunch. I'm sorry. But the trauma in black men is real. The trauma in black boys is real. Trauma in black girls is real. Trauma in black women is real. However, there doesn't seem to be that much attention paid to trauma in black boys. And we're going to have to if we're interested in keeping our race going. If you're interested. I know a lot of black folks are like, man, it ain't about that. It's about we are human beings. It's interesting that this shade of human being is not getting much attention when it comes to trauma as other shades of human beings. How about that? Y'all be cool. Enjoy the rest of your lunch if you're just now getting to it. I mean, if you're just now getting to it, enjoy your lunch. Those of you who are finishing up, glad that you were able to hang out with me. Mess with me on the book thing. $10 Cash App. Rico the Opinionist. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. And I'll talk to y'all in the future. Peace.